Howard Street's heyday was in the 60s, but some believe the business district is about to see prosperity once again. New technology and new blood are moving in.
I'm unique, and I think Howard Street is unique, and so is my business, so it'll work.
Vivian Needham is getting ready to open Forever Alice, a vintage clothing store on Howard Street. She's giving garments of the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s another chance. She's confident that downtown deserves a second chance, too.
Look at downtown. I mean, even though the businesses have closed up, look at the buildings. Why waste them? You know, why build new buildings when we have buildings right in Baltimore that can work? You know, you have people that need jobs, and it's here.
Crime has frightened some businesses and shoppers away from the downtown area, but Vivian seems fearless.
I'm up in an area it's kind of like deserted, but I'm not afraid. You know, I would be somewhere else, no one would know me, so it's the same thing.
Vivian first got into the vintage clothing business about 4.5 years ago. At one point, she had 2 locations on St. Paul and Charles Streets. Then she decided to consolidate, and when she looked through these windows, she saw gold.
I don't think it's no different than if I moved to Towson. I'm still going to have to make myself the best business person there is and make my business work. So this will make me strive harder to say I did it, you know. So I think Howard Street is a good place for someone like me.
Forever Alice is named after Vivian's mom and for how long this shop owner plans to endure. Yolanda Graham, News Channel 2, downtown.
David Kirby is a public relations man involved in the selling of downtown Baltimore, or Market Center as it's called. He says his biggest problem in getting people to come are untrue perceptions of downtown. For example, that it's hard to park.
In the matter of parking, you can probably park closer to the stores that you're going to here than you can in many suburban shopping centers. Market Center is ringed by parking lots, and there are also parking lots available right inside the area.
He says another untrue perception concerns crime.
I think Baltimore's problems have been more in image than they have been in fact. This is a very, very safe as safe as an area can be, where there are a great many people gathered together.
Peggy Powell owns a cookie store in the Lexington Market Arcade. She has another view of why shoppers have stayed away.
I think basically because there was not a great deal to offer them. And I think that it was far more convenient for suburbanites to go to their own neighborhood shopping centers on the weekends.
But Powell says there are plenty of reasons to come to Market Center, a variety of shops, including those being built in the Murdoch developments, and an easy way to get here, the subway, which opens in November. Market Center has some new shoppers already. What brought you downtown?
Curiosity to see how it was down here since they rebuilding everything and everything, you know. It's a new Baltimore.
What do you think of downtown?
It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
You think you'll do most of your shopping here now?
Yeah.
You might say this is an effort to get Baltimoreans to return to their roots. After all, downtown is where many of us did most of our shopping years ago. Kevin Brown, News Scene 2, downtown.
Is out of operation tonight following a year-long undercover operation. Now this afternoon, undercover officers arrested 3 suspects, including the alleged ringleader of this organization. News Channel 2's Randy Page went along on the bus. Randy now joins us live from our update desk in the newsroom with this exclusive report. Randy?
Beverly, a tense situation ended peacefully today with 3 suspected Jamaican drug dealers in custody and no shots fired.
Negotiations are underway at this time with Sergeant Reichenball, who was undercover working with one of the suspects. At this time, we have a pound of cocaine that we're negotiating this time.
A 1-year undercover operation is about to come to a close with the final 1 pound buy. The drug is cocaine. The organization is Jamaican, believed to be responsible for bringing large quantities of cocaine into the Baltimore area. Veteran undercover officer David Reichenbach agreed to meet with suspected Jamaican drug dealers outside of this Pimlico area home this afternoon. He was carrying $20,000 in cash.
The game plan was to entice them into showing us the dope, but we needed to have the money, $20,000, in the event that to show them that we were serious about.
What went through your mind when you met with these people with that kind of cash?
in light of the circumstances of the last 16 to 18 hours, we were really fearful that they would attempt to rip us. In other words, just steal our money and go. And of course, if that happens, then you're obviously in a very violent situation.
But at the last minute today, the suspected supplier backed out on the deal, so state police decided to move in anyway and make the arrest. By the end of the day, 3 suspects were in custody. Suspected drugs and 1 weapon were seized. And state narcotics investigators say a major cocaine ring is out of operation tonight.
They had been buying pounds of cocaine from these people. So we are looking at them as being a fairly large cocaine organization, and we're hoping by these arrests and the 5 search and seizure warrants that have been transacted as we speak, that will put a stop or a halt in this area, in the Pimlico area of the cocaine trade.
And tonight, 3 suspects are in custody. Tyrone Bailey, an MTA employee, we are told, the alleged middleman. Winston Brown, the man who allegedly brokered the deal, and the alleged kingpin of the organization, Mark Thomas of Essex. All are believed to be Jamaican citizens. Beverly?
Well, since there was no violence in this particular arrest, was there any related violence in that neighborhood, in that Pimlico neighborhood?
Beverly, today INS officials were there to look at these suspects and see if they are wanted for other crimes, and if there were any violent acts attributed to any of these people, that indeed will be investigated. But we should also point out one more thing. If any of these people indeed are Jamaican nationals and they are in this country after being deported for any kind of illegal reasons, in other words, for doing illegal activities, they are guilty of a crime simply for being in this country, and they could do up to 15 years in federal prison for that. So the case is ongoing.
Okay, thank you very much, Randy Page. Stan? Good evening to you. Kimberly Williams might well be considered a miracle child. The 2-year-old is home from Johns Hopkins only days after being shot in the face.
But tonight, folks on North Port Street say they now need another miracle, one that will help save their neighborhood. News Channel 2's Mark Vinarelli reports that police are still asking neighbors for help to figure out why Kimberly Williams was shot.
A sunny day, a bottle of juice, and a friendly front stoop. And all's right with Kimberly Williams' world. But 8 days ago, the world wasn't so good on this stoop. A week ago yesterday, Kimberly's eyes cried out in terror as a 9mm bullet tore through this innocent girl's face.
First thing was, oh my God, she's shot. And then my baby gonna die. It was like a nightmare, but when you look at Kimberly, laying in the hospital bed, and you say, no, 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 this is not a nightmare. This actually happened.
Police have arrested 2 people, but they're still desperate to speak with anyone who might know something, anything, about why this little girl took a bullet on her own front porch in broad daylight. One thing this near tragedy has done to the folks who live in this community is make them more aware of who's hanging out on the corners, and most importantly, more aware of where their own children are. Today, little ones running up Port Street aren't far from their parents' watchful eyes. Today, the front stoop is viewed in a very different light.
It's a miracle that this child has really made it, and I think this is a lesson for a lot of us that have young children to kind of really watch out, because, you know, the world is bad and it's drug-related and everything. So really, the same thing that happened to her could happen to anybody.
The bullet entered just under Kimberly's left ear, but doctors are more concerned now with her gums, since that's where the bullet came out. But remarkably, there doesn't seem to be any other major damage. So while Kimberly Williams is now a crime statistic, she is also a miracle whose loved ones cradle on that fateful stoop and wonder, when will it end? When will it end? Mark Vinarelli, News Channel 2, East Baltimore.
Baltimore police would like anyone with any information on Kimberly's shooting to call them at 396-2100. That number again, 396-2100. Beth?
These people who marched in cold and rain to save their library are relieved tonight. So's Mayor DuBurns and the City Council. The mayor's come up with money to at least postpone the controversial closings of 5 branch libraries. The neighborhoods are happy. Their libraries will remain open until June 30th. The mayor and the council are happy. They can put off a tough political choice. But Mayor DuBurns warns it's just a short-term solution.
The libraries are in trouble, and I don't know if we can afford them or not, but I just felt at this time we just couldn't close it because too many people was using it as a political football.
Even though the library issue was not on the agenda tonight, Members of the council and the council president praised the mayor for coming up with funds to keep the branches open. But tonight they're still complaining, as they have throughout this crisis, that the library board has been difficult to deal with.
We were led to believe that Pimlico was closed, had asbestos problems, could not be reopened. And on Friday, the mayor finds out for the first time ever that that problem had been corrected and the library could open immediately. And that, again, is a little embarrassing.
The Coalition to Save the Libraries considers this just a brief reprieve and continued its campaign at tonight's council meeting.
Once upon a time in the city, there were a number of decisions that were being made in the back rooms, but I think that right now the community is requesting that they be given full partnership vested rights in those decisions.
But all sides agree they now have more time to work together to review alternatives for the library system. From City Council, Joyce Jefferson, Channel 2 News Nightside.